Let's talk about long operations, specifically long subtraction. Say we have 56 minus 42. Well, first we have to write them in our long subtraction form. Make sure that starting right to left, we have all of our numbers stacked up nicely, starting with the ones, then the tens. If that's all good, we'll start by subtracting, starting with the rightmost column. In this case, we have a 6 minus 2, which of course gives us 4. We then go to the next column, where we have 5 minus 4, which is 1. So the final answer will be 14. Simple enough. Now let's try one that's a little bit harder. Here we have 65 minus 18. Once again, we stack these numbers up, and starting with the rightmost column, we subtract. 5 minus 8 gives us negative 3. Well, wait a minute. We don't want this first number to be a negative. I think it's just going to be too complicated for us to work with. So instead, let's try this, and bear with me for a minute. But the number 65 is really the combination of 60 and 5, right? The 6 in 65 represents 60, and the 5 just represents 5. But another way to represent 65 would be with 50 and 15. And 15 is big enough that I could subtract 8 from it and get a positive. Okay, so let's come back up here, and let's change things a bit. We'll change this 6 to a 5 to represent 50, and we'll change this 5 to a 15. So now, instead of 60 and 5, we have 50 and 15. So let's try our subtraction now. 15 minus 8 is 7, okay, and 5 minus 1 is 4. So the answer we get is 47. Okay, perfect. Hopefully that process made sense and you're able to apply it in other questions. Now, if I were to write this solution out on paper, it would look something like this. I would start by acknowledging that 5 minus 8 is negative. So instead, I look to the next number 6 to borrow from. Doing so here reduces that 6 to a 5, and the one I'm borrowing turns the 5 into 15. Next, I do 15 minus 8 to get 7. And 5 minus 1 to get 4. And just like that, you're all done. Let's try another example. Say we have $96.27 minus $84.39. So we stack these numbers up, and notice how our decimals are aligned. This ensures that all the other digits are aligned correctly. Now we can try to do our subtraction. 7 minus 9 is, well, a negative. So again, we have to do the same thing we did before. We have to borrow from the next column. Doing so will turn this 2 into a 1 and the 7 into a 17. 17 minus 9 is 8, so that's perfect. Now we go to the next column. 1 minus 3, once again, we get a negative. So we'll borrow from the next column, this time from the 6. This will turn that 6 into a 5. And the 1 we borrow turns this 1 into an 11. Now we have 11 minus 3, which is 8. We place our decimal here so that all decimals are lined up, and we go to the next column. 5 minus 4 gives us a 1, and 9 minus 8 also gives us a 1. So the final answer is $11.88. Next question, 27 minus 48. Now, this question is interesting because the entire number 27 is smaller than the number 48. So we expect the final answer to be negative. So how should we approach this? Well, we can use a property that we previously discussed in our integers video. But if you don't remember, we established that if you subtract two numbers, say 4 minus 7, the answer you get will be the opposite of the answer you get when you subtract those numbers in the opposite order, like 7 minus 4. In that case, you get an answer of 3, so in the original question, you get an answer of negative 3. So let's try to subtract these in the opposite order and see what we get. 48 minus 27 should be simple enough. 8 minus 7 is 1, and 4 minus 2 is 2. So the answer we get is 21. Now, because we get 21, it means that the answer for our original question must be negative 21. And that's all there is to it. Let's try another question, and this will be the last one, I think. Say we have 23.94 minus 127.5. Well, again, it's a case of the smaller number minus the larger number. So we can stack these numbers up but ultimately we'll have to swap this order just like we did in the last question. Now, notice that I've added a 0 here at the end. You don't have to do that. I just like doing it sometimes so that there's not an empty space. Now, let's start. 0 minus 4, that'll be negative, so let's borrow from the 5. That turns our 5 into a 4, and that 0 will turn into a 10. Now, 10 minus 4 is 6, and 4 minus 9 is another negative. So once again, let's borrow from the next column. This 7 will turn into a 6, and this 4 will turn into a 14. Now, 14 minus 9 is 5, so that's good, and 6 minus 3 is 3. 2 minus 2 is 0, that's fine, and 1 minus nothing is, well, 1. You could think of it like there's a 0 here if you want to, but again, that's not necessary. Now let's change the sign, and as a final answer we get negative 103.56. Now, we have some practice questions here. Pause the video now and give them a go, otherwise the answers will be revealed in 3 seconds. This has been long subtraction. Be sure to check out my other videos on long operations, including long addition, multiplication, and everyone's favorite, long division. Remember to like or even subscribe to the channel if you found this video helpful, and feel free to check out some of my other over 100 videos covering various topics of high school mathematics. And of course, thanks for watching.